Hey all, Hipper here. So Baldur's Gate 3 is out and I'm going to show you in this video 5 reasons why you should definitely play this game. And the first reason is the amount of unlimited exploration you can do. Baldur's Gate 3 is just like the Divinity games before it, a game that's all about, getting rid of the shackles that bind you in normal games and allowing you to do pretty much anything. And especially when it comes to exploration, there is a lot to do in this game. And I don't think that any player so far has found everything there is to find in the game, because it is just so large and there are so many ways to do things, and there's so many ways that you can be cunning and very very skilled in how you choose to explore the environment. So I'm just showing a simple little puzzle here from the beginning of the game. I don't want to spoil anything, which all it requires is jumping. But obviously as you continue in the game, there are hidden stuff that's far more intricate and a lot more interesting to figure out than this puzzle here. Anyway, that's the first reason you should play Baldur's Gate 3, because the exploration and the puzzles are just like beyond anything you've seen before. Alright, the next reason you should play Baldur's Gate 3 is because of the turn-based combat. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I was going to play a turn-based combat game, which was actually made by Larian as well, and it was one of the earlier versions, you want to call it, of Baldur's Gate 3, called Divinity. I thought it was going to be really boring, but nothing could be further from the truth. Now, Divinity games started perfecting the turn-based combat, and although many games have tried it before, I think Baldur's Gate has now made this type of combat perfect. Of course, it's different from when you're playing Diablo, which is based on real-time combat, where monsters come at you, at the same time as you're playing, and there's like up to like dozens of them. And that's different from Baldur's Gate 3, because in Baldur's Gate 3 you really have to think. You have to think about the position of your characters as you enter a battle. You have to think about the different skills that your characters possess and how these skills will help you in the battle, how these characters can help each other as well. And there are so many skills in the game, and that's one of the best parts of Baldur's Gate 3. There are so many spells, so many skills, so many ways you can win battles. There's countless ways. I cannot even get close to explaining how many ways you can win battles, because you don't have to fight. For example, you can talk your way out of it if that's your thing, but fighting is fun, so I try to fight as much as I can in this game. And there are so many ways of using spells to your advantage, blocking vision, teleporting stuff around. There's no limit to the creativity that you can put out in these battles here. And that's a rare thing in games these days, and Baldur's Gate just absolutely nails it. Alright, the next reason extends a little bit from the combat reason here, and it is that pretty much anything is possible in this game here. So you can play the game pretty much exactly the way you want to play it. Like, you want to be deceptive, you want to be persuasive, you want to help everyone, you want to kill everyone. It's completely up to you. The roll of the dice usually decides how things go, and that's another great part about this game here, because one good dice roll could choose like one way to progress the story, that if you play the game again, maybe you roll something else with that dice and you will not be able to access that part of the story. There's a lot of that in Baldur's Gate 3, and a lot of it revolves around backstabbing people, like I'm doing here. First I get these people here to help me get this person down, and then I just totally attack them. And there's nothing more satisfying than that, and Baldur's Gate does it so well. That dice roll is something that happens in pretty much all RPG games, but here it's just made explicit. Now you can even boost the die with different skills, and I don't know what it is, but it just makes it a lot more compelling to play. And it is definitely something that I think a lot of other games are going to pick up on and incorporate into their gameplay in the future. Like, just looking around, rolling the dice. Do I see something? Don't I see something? And it just totally changes what will happen in the game, and it's pretty awesome. Alright, the next reason is the amazing character creator. Role-playing games are all about building a sort of character that you can either identify with or someone that's perhaps completely the opposite of who you are. And I haven't seen a better character creator than the one in Baldur's Gate 3. It is just so detailed. Not just because it allows you to change your appearance, but because the game is just very, very deep. Like, you have races, you have sub-races, you have classes, you have backgrounds, you have abilities, you have all sorts of things. And, building your character here can take a very long time, especially since you're also picking your first few magics in case you are a magical character. And, picking your class and what you look like, it's very, very intricate, and it can take a very long time, especially if there's two of you, which we'll get back to later. Now, creating your character obviously also means you have to choose your appearance, and this is also one of the most detailed environments I have ever seen this done in. And not just that, but it all looks so schmick. Like, the hair is perfect, the eyes are perfect, the characters just look so lifelike that we are approaching, well, I don't know, movie quality here. It's really impressive. And there's so many hairstyles, there's so many ways to mix and match your hair color and your jewelry and your eye color, whatever, along with your tattoos. There's simply no end to the possibilities here in creating your own character, which is super important because, like I said in the beginning, this is a role-playing game. Most people create a character that they really, feel attached to, and nothing, builds that attachment more than actually being able to sculpt the character exactly the way you want it. And for sure you can do that in Baldur's Gate 3, and you can do it better than any other game. Alright, so the last reason you should play Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the most important reason, and that's the fact that local couch co-op multiplayer is included in this enormous game. I don't understand how Larian was able to do this. They did it earlier with the Divinity games, and they are already massive games with lots of moving parts, and yet they pulled it off. Baldur's Gate 3 is even worse. Like, there's so many branching storylines and so many ways that you should be able to, crash each other's games, I guess, but it doesn't happen. And each player is pretty much independent. You can walk around doing whatever you want, and if one player decides to, hey, I want to, have a look at my inventory or something like that, you can do that. It doesn't stop there though. Like, while one player is busy fiddling around in his or her inventory, the other player can initiate conversations or start fights or pretty much do anything. It's almost like two instances of the game are running on the same screen, which is very impressive. One, from a technical standpoint, I can't even believe how much work that would have to require. It's certainly a benchmark for other games in the future. So that was my 5 reasons to play Baldur's Gate 3, in case you needed any reasons to play it, because you shouldn't. This is one of the best games ever made, and if you haven't played it yet, you should certainly buy it right now and get started. So hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you out there.